Stacy Resnick, here representing yourself, testifying against the bill.
My name is Stacy Resnick, and I'm here to testify against House Bill 16. I live in Temple within Bell County, and I'm a constituent of Ralph Sheffield. I'm a member of the Bell County, Texas Democratic Women and the County Medical Alliance. I moved to Texas 2 years ago from Washington, D.C. Never in my wildest dreams did I think moving 1,500 miles would set me back 50-plus years. My reproductive rights are not for you to decide. While living on the East Coast, I was never concerned about my rights, and most of the women there were not threatened. I am the granddaughter of a Polish and a Cuban immigrant. My family left Nazi-occupied Poland and Castro's Cuba to come to this country for the freedoms that it offered. Now you are trying to take that away from me. How can you decide what I'm going to do with my body? Where does this behavior stop and what is next? Whether it's limiting it to 20 weeks or limiting the locations from 47 to 5, you're telling the women of Texas you just don't care about them. What will the women west of 35 do? If you don't care to push us back into the alley, that's fine. Again, this law will not stop abortions. Making abortions against the law merely changes the choice whether or not a woman will risk her life and break the law. The law will never convince anyone of the morality of an abortion, but rather merely gives permission to collectively judge us. Instead, let's face the realities of an unwanted, non-viable pregnancy and work to prevent them, except for turning women into criminals. Let's work together to the best of our ability to eliminate poverty, create opportunities for education so that all women can choose to give birth from a place of a happy and free Texas. We can work together towards the goal of not making an abortion an issue and not demonizing and judging and lecturing other women faced with a choice on either side of this divide. I believe in the right to privacy and the idea that women should have the choice to do what she pleases with her own body. The women here today should prove to you that we are educated and we won't stand for this. You represent us. We actually possibly voted for you, and we will surely make sure you are unemployed when your term is up. I make this pledge. I will work harder than I ever have before to make sure that my representative will not get reelected when his term is up. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned.
Thank you for your testimony. Amanda Stevenson, here representing herself, testifying against the bill.
Hello. My name is Amanda Stevenson, and I am a researcher at the University of Texas at Austin, where I work with a team to evaluate the impacts of recent legislative actions regarding reproductive health care in Texas. I am here as a constituent of Elliot Nishat, and I am here to testify against these bills. While we have recently heard from my colleague Joe Potter about the conditions under which women currently are trying to access abortion care in Texas, I'd like to talk about a recent piece of research which is currently in press in the American Journal of Public Health and has been reported on in the journals Contraception, Perspectives in Sexual and Reproductive Health, and other major respected scientific journals in recent months and throughout the past year. This study was called the Turnaway Study. It used valid scientific methods to create a correctly constructed counterfactual that was able to estimate the impact of having versus not having an abortion by segregating women into women who were barely within the limit of gestational age for abortion at the clinic that they were receiving care, and women who were barely outside the limit of gestational age at the clinic where they were receiving care. Thus, women who had very similar conditions but who were in some sense randomly assigned to receive or not receive abortions based on a limit like the limit under consideration in House Bill 16 was evaluated for its impact on women's lives and the lives of the children that these women either already had or subsequently delivered. The findings of the Turnaway Study demonstrate conclusively and with strong empirical evidence that is statistically very sound that there are negative impacts for women's mental, emotional, and physical health, for the economic well-being of their families, for the academic success of their children, but the cognitive success of their children. There's not sufficient follow-up yet to get strong academic findings. These findings demonstrate that these negative impacts are born by women who are denied abortions due to limits on gestational age. Women who receive abortions have better outcomes. The Turnaway study is the current best standard in the scientific research on the impact of abortions on the lives of women and children. And the Turnaway study demonstrates that laws like the one under consideration before you tonight, this morning, whatever, House Bill 16, are detrimental for women and children. They're detrimental for families. If you care about women and you care about children, then you'll let women make decisions that will better their families and their lives. These women who are making these decisions likely have the interests of their children in mind. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your testimony. Dina, Kelly? Kelly?
Oh, wait, yes.
Okay, well, hold on just a minute.
Kate Caldwell.
Kate Caldwell?
Mm-hmm.
Kate, if you'll come up, I have you representing yourself, testifying against the bill.
Yes, thank you. And thank you, Chair and Committee, for allowing me to testify. My name is Kate Caldwell. I'm here representing myself, speaking against HB 16. The termination of a pregnancy is not an easy thing. I've never been pregnant, but I do have close friends who have been, some who have had babies, some who've terminated the pregnancies, and some who have done both at different times. With my friends who have made that tough choice, I can say that none of them have come out unscathed, but that they all still firmly believe that they made the right decision, both for themselves and for their families. And I firmly believe that no one can make that decision better than the woman herself. I am the oldest of 3 daughters who were born to parents who very much wanted them. My parents had a daughter before me who was born with extensive birth defects at 7 months and spent the 6 hours she was here on life support. My mother believes that given her condition, every minute my sister spent on earth was in agony. My mother also believes that if she'd known ahead of time, she would have terminated the pregnancy to spare her child that pain. This was a long time before 3D sonograms and the technology that we have today, but there's still a chance that expectant parents might not know the extent of the damage to their child by 5 months. And, you know, maybe a fetus feels pain at 20 weeks, but a child born to die in 6 hours definitely feels pain. And really, the only people who should get to decide what to do in that situation are the ones going through it, the parents. To say that there are no exceptions in these circumstances is childish and devoid of compassion, and that's pretty much what this bill says. Along with the other bill, these are not going to fix any of the real problems our state faces, among them a teen pregnancy rate ranking number 4 in the country that costs our state $1 billion annually. A recent study by Diana Green Foster at the University of California, San Francisco, compared women who received abortions and those who were turned away. Of the two groups, and I quote from the New York Times article on the study by Joshua Lang, women denied abortion were 3 times as likely to end up below the federal poverty line 2 years later. Making abortions more difficult to obtain either by location or by time isn't going to fix unwanted pregnancy. That answer lies in the accessibility of sexual education and family planning materials. There's a statistic used by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation in their efforts to bring family planning to third world nations that states for every dollar spent on family planning, $6 is saved by the government. So if you want to reduce the abortion rate, help people not get pregnant. It doesn't just make common sense, it also makes fiscal sense. We have a lot of problems in the state of Texas. We have wildfires and tornadoes and water scarcity and education defunding and a childhood hunger rate of 27% right now. That's 1.9 children that are living in the state right now that live with hunger insecurity. I really wish that instead of rehashing bills that were already turned down, we were addressing some of the multitude of issues that our state is facing. Thank you very much for your time. It's been quite a night.
Thank you very much.